and kind of explain how your course is going to work. So this is Intro to Anatomy and Physiology, Biology 2404. And so if you see, this is your main site as you come in, and you can just hit course content here. So the course content is going to give you to the main page of the course, right? And so essentially what you start with is there's this thing called the Student Communication Forum. And the Student Communication Forum is just a way that you can click in here, you can start a thread, and if you have any questions for your fellow classmates, or you want to kind of say, hey, anybody want to study with me or work with me, do this and that? Or if you want to say, hey, is anybody else having a problem with this? You can start a thread here. I do come and check this from time to time to see if there's any issues. And so, but this is an area that you guys can freely go back and forth and just discuss stuff to see if maybe you have a question about a subject matter that you don't really understand. You can post it on there and see if maybe someone can explain it to you. Very straightforward. So this is an area that you guys can kind of talk to each other. Now the intro to course is here. And so essentially, what this is of course, you have your welcome. And this, you saw me at home with my ball cap on. A little bit different today, right? Since we're actually back into classes. And so here's on how to register for the website. So if you go, here's how to register. So this gives you a video and some links on everything that you need to register. This is your system requirements for the McGraw-Hill Connect site that we're going to be using. Now when you go to register, you actually select this. And I hope it doesn't. Okay, and so you'll get to this and you'll enter your email to join. You'll hit begin. As you can see, this is a book you need, and this is the instructor, of course, me, and then it's for spring 2018. So this will get you in there. So that is how to register. Now, once you get that, then from then on, you can hit the website link here. And, oops, that one, because that's my student one. I have used this for my class before. And then after that, you can get in, and what you will see is this. So let me give you your student view here. Some of this I'm going to try to go through and show you, but I necessarily might not be able to get into everything because it only allows you to get into stuff. But you should be able to see this. And of course, you'll have the course syllabus here, and these are the different chapters. As you notice in the syllabus that I went through earlier to show you how to do all that. So, go back. So that can get you through the intro to the course and how everything works. Of course, the syllabus is here, and the review that you already watched is right here. And of course, hopefully you found this in the online class tutorials. And if you have any questions about Testing Center or information like that, it's going to be in this link right here. And so that's the welcome or intro to course. Now, when you go on every single chapter, and it's going to tell you, if you look under the chapters, it'll show you what unit that they're in here. And so within each one of those, you're going to have a PowerPoint. There's a study guide and questions that will help you to answer. And then, of course, I've added some really good, helpful videos. This is both for lecture, and some of them are even for lab, and they tell you what to do here, right? And so on the top, it'll tell you what you should complete for that. So for here, read chapter 1, pages 1 through 30. I've placed videos below to help you understand the concepts presented in the unit better. And you'll want to complete the following activities and connect A and P to help with mastery of these concepts, and they will be graded. So you'll do the Learnsmart Module, chapter 1 homework, and then the lab activity 1, interactive, Learnsmart Lab, lab safety. And so it says all activities for these units are due Sunday, April 4th, 2018 at 11:59. There's also some practice activities within that Connect to help you grade, to help you if you need more practice, but they are not graded. Now, as you notice already, that I put here that all activities are due February 4th, but as you know, I've extended the deadlines for the lab activities. But this is what I would suggest, just getting them all done at this time to make things a little bit easier. And that's what you're going to have for each one. You're going to have lecture, lecture video, and lab information. So again, if you see in chapter 2, it tells you the same thing, what you need to do, when it's due by, and then essentially the PowerPoint, the study outlines again to help you know what's important, all the videos to watch if you're confused about anything that's within it, and then it kind of gives you what you need to finish here, and then some of the information that you may need or helpful videos here. So that's what's in D2L. Now, if you notice here, these give the headlines, but there's not anything to do because everything else is essentially in your Connect site. Now, I would always go back to your D2L to know what's due, to get the syllabus or anything else there. Now on here, essentially, if you go into chapter 1, you'll notice everything that's due. And so you have a lab diagnostic exam, and this is some extra credit, like I was saying about in the syllabus. So this is due, and this is always due within the first week of class. So you'll go in there, and you'll just hit over here, and you'll start doing that quiz. Now here tells you the chapter 1 introduction. So this is the Learnsmart, when you're talking about the, let me go back to unit 1. The Learnsmart Modules, that's what that is up here. It's Learnsmart Modules right here. So those are the ones we can go. This takes about an hour. So you go in here, it's going to open, and this is going to be with your book. So you'll go into here, and these are really cool. I like these a lot. So essentially, okay, let's go. You have your book over here, right? And so at this point, you're like, okay, this is my book. Let me go. And hit the practice button.
You haven't read anything yet. If you want.
So when you hit the practice button, this is going to get your Learnsmart modules. Now, how this is working, you should always do this one first, is that you're going to go through it, and then you'll go and it says, okay, of the 4 listed, what is the smallest, least complex? Now, if you don't know what the answer is, you can go and you can read about this. And the read about this is going to go back to and kind of take you to the unit, and sometimes it'll even give you to the area that you need to read to go through it. Now, if you don't want to read it or you have your book, you can hit practice and it'll get you back to this. And click the answer you think is right. So list of the 4, which is the smallest. So we have organ, cell, tissue, and organelle. Well, if you learn, right, you can go, oh, well, I'm not really sure, so let me hit cell. And then down here, it's going to say, how do you know the answer? I don't know it. I think I do. I'm unsure. I have no idea. Be honest with this, because this is just, you're going to get a grade just for doing it. So if you're like, oh, okay, cell, and I know it, then it's going to come back and it's going to go, okay, sorry, your answer is wrong, right? And then if you're like, okay, I'm not sure, you can hit about read it again. And then you're going to hit okay, and it's going to go to the next. And basically this is going to go, okay, the thyroid, the adrenal gland, and the ovaries are part of the, I'm going to write endocrine system on here. And then I'm going to say, I'm unsure about this. And then they're going to go, okay, you were correct on here, right? And what this is going to do is as you go through, and up here you can go, and it will say kind of standing, how you're doing here, right? But essentially, what this is going to tell you over time is if you're saying you know something and you're getting them wrong, it's finally going to stop you after a while and say, you know what, you really need to go back and look at these sections because you think you know this, but you don't. So that's going to be a good way on how to annotate what you need to study. And then if you're getting them right and you're saying, I don't know about it, it can tell you, okay, you need to get a little bit more confident in your information. But this is going to kind of give you a good way on being introduced to the section, getting a review of it, kind of helping you read and put things together. So this is the part that kind of helps along with watching the video and looking at the lecture PowerPoints on what should be studied. Okay. Let me get out of here. Let me go back to student view. Sorry. Get out of this. So that's how the study modules work. Now the next thing is your homework, and you just click into that and you go through that. Again, show you what this looks like. And so this is worth 10, and in order to move on, your minimum score must be 10% for chapter 1, so you hit start. And then this is going to be kind of labeling quadrants. So on here, you're going to go, okay, let me think, upper right quadrant. I'm not really sure. If you can go, oh, I'm not really sure where the upper right quadrant is. Let's put it here. Left quadrant. Put that there. And then let's put this here. And you're just going to move it over. And then you're like, okay, I feel good. And then you'll go through and you'll label this. And at the end, it'll allow you to check your work. And then it's going to annotate your points over here, how much you have for each one. And then at the end, it'll give you what your homework is. And so you can hit submit at the end, or you can save and exit it if you didn't finish it. And then the lab activities or combination, this is going to be an interactive one that works much like the homework that you saw earlier. And this is the Learnsmart Lab. And so you're going to go into this for the lab component.
It's critical that you understand how to work safely in the lab. Following the appropriate lab etiquette and regulations is important.
So she's going to explain kind of how to do it, and this is going to be your lab, and it's interactive. So you're going to come over here, and you click on it.
Before you practice your hand washing technique, I would like you to explore some basic information.
So you're going to go, and you're going to start reading these, right? So this is going to tell you why washing your hands is important in the lab and how to correctly wash your hands.
Complete this exercise by demonstrating the correct method for washing your hands.
So you have your hands here, right? And so I've already started doing this, but you're basically going to get here and you're going to click on stuff. And you're going to take stuff off, and as you go through, it's going to allow you to do it. So here's this simulator prepping for it. And so you have your hands, right? And here's instructions. Your task is to correctly wash your hands according to the sequence you just learned. To proceed, click on what you need for the next step. Start by turning on the water, then press continue when you're done. If you have any help, you can hit the help. So you can say, I'm going to turn on the water, and it's going to turn the water on. And if you want help, you can click on the help at any point, and it's going to tell you. You can remove your watch here, right? You can put your hand in there. You can get soap. So, and then it's going to ask you, start rubbing your hands, and you can go, okay, fast forward 10 seconds. And so this is what you're going to do on these kind of things. So that's how you complete those, and then you just go through them, and at the end it'll tell you what you need. The other ones that you don't have it for this section, but let me go a little bit farther ahead. Is it here? One of these. As you can see, if it says not required, those are the ones you can do for extra help or fun. Here you can see that you have a couple different lab activities. Trying to see. Okay, so here are what are known as Physiology Labs. So let's go into here so that you can see this guy. So these, it says 0 points, and actually there's points attributed to it, but the thing is you're going to have to turn these in to D2L. So you start them. And you're going to have to go and click on there. And so this is going to give you to the Physiological Interactive Lab Simulation, and you're going to have to either register as a student, or you can enter your information if you already have the account. It always does this, but I have the most updated. Let's see here. I already have this. So let me get this and go into, for some reason you may have to do a different, I always end up having to do a different browser because it never wants to work correctly. And so you're going to go to the one that they're asking for. So here we want Physiolab 7, the length tension relationship. So that's one right here. So you're going to click into here, and they're going to talk about how this works. And you read through the objectives and the introduction, and it'll tell you what you need to do. And there's going to be pre-lab questions you're going to answer. So I'm just going to continue, randomly select. And so once you get done, it's going to tell you how many you got correct out of the labs. And then you can restart the quiz, or you can skip the quiz, whatever. Then you go here, and this is going to explain how you do the lab. And the lab is going to require you to enter information. So you're going to have to journal. And basically, you're going to do this lab all the way through, and at the end, it's going to ask you to make a PDF. And that PDF is going to give the pre-lab questions, what you got right and wrong. It's going to give all the data that you're creating and post-lab stuff. And then essentially, once you're done with the lab report, here you go, continue. Let me skip quiz. Finish lab. You're going to type your name. You're going to put the stuff here, and then you can hit print the lab. And so on here, I'm going to make it, oops, or actually here, save the PDF. And so it's going to go and it's going to materialize a PDF. Normally doesn't take this long. Okay. Your report is printing. Okay. Where is my PDF? It's being a turd on me right now. Once that PDF is generated though, so that's what it's doing right now, you're going to come back to your mastering, and there's going to be a tab within that chapter for you to upload this PDF. And once you upload the PDF, then I'm going to actually grade that PDF. So it's still doing something there. It's creating PDF right now. Okay. Sometimes it can be a turd. Where did it go? Probably need to read. Going. Oh, let's open so you can see what it looks like. So this is what you're going to get. And so it's going to tell me what you got wrong or right? This will end up giving you all the data from the experiment that you're doing. And then at the end, it'll give me the questions that you got wrong or right as well. So you'll need to complete this whole thing and submit it for those points. And like I said, there will be something for you to submit within here. There'll be two. I'll put a tab up here that says lab PDF submissions, and then I'll also have a link within the chapter that you need to do that as well. And so your lecture exams are actually going to be found within your Connect site as well. So down here, between they're not here, you can find your lab practicals here once it gets completed, but then you're also going to have your exams here. So expect those exams to pop up next week. And so that's essentially how the class runs. This will all be updated completely. You have all the modules for the first, probably about the first 8 weeks of your class, so to about March. And within the next couple weeks, the second part of the class will start materializing so you can see that. But that should be a nice overview. And if you have any questions at all, please let me know. Anyway, have a great time, and I hope you enjoy the class.